Uncharted, this is episode 8. Can you believe that we're at episode 8? And today we're talking about time, the currency you can't keep. So what is the illusion of time? This is a deep dive into our greatest paradox. So time is the most valuable thing we have, yet we never truly own it. And we chase it, we waste it, we beg for it, and sometimes we wish it would stop entirely. But what if everything we think we know about time is wrong? So in this episode of Uncharted, we unravel the mystery of time, its illusions, its impacts, and how to master it before it masters you.
I'm looking for a woman in finance, crypto, 5-4 amber eyes. I'm looking for a woman in finance, crypto, 5-4 amber eyes. I'm looking for a woman in finance, crypto, 5-4 amber eyes. I'm looking for a woman in finance, crypto, 5-4 amber eyes. I'm looking for a woman in finance, crypto, 5-4 amber eyes. Uncharted, let's go.
So welcome to Uncharted, the podcast that rips a map right out of your hands and forces you to think differently about money, crypto, psychology, and success. I'm Lisa Ann Edwards, a crypto trader, investor, and entrepreneur with over 25 years in traditional markets, with 5 multi-billion-dollar businesses under my belt. I've navigated bull runs, crashes, scams, pumps, and dumps, and I'm here to give you the brutal truth about building wealth in a world that never stops changing. But that's not all. Before crypto, I lived in a world where money isn't real Hollywood, well, the Australian version. As a former talent agent and now writer and film producer, I've seen firsthand how power, influence, and manipulation shape the way we think about success. The game is rigged, but only if you play by their rules. In this show, we go deep into the psychology of money, expose how the system really works, and give you all the tools to build your own wealth. And because life isn't about numbers, we take a few detours into travel, luxury, and hacking the system to live on your own terms. So if you're ready to break free from the financial lies, trading myths, and mindset traps keeping you broke, you're in the right place. This is Uncharted. Let's get started.
Uncharted, let's go.
So let's dive straight into it. We're talking about time and the myth of time. Does time even exist? So time is something we have, but we do not truly possess. We talk about time as if it's something we can control, something we can manage, master, even manipulate. But in reality, it's fleeting, slipping through our fingers faster than we'd like to admit. The clocks tick on, indifferent to our desires, to our anxieties, to our hopes and dreams. And if I'm being honest, reflecting on all our moments, I still wish I had time. That's the thing I wish the most, but I don't. So all I can do now is use that time wisely. But here's the question we should all be asking ourselves. Are you actually using your time wisely? How many of us put our lives on hold waiting for something to happen or for the perfect moment? In doing so, we've essentially stopped the clock. Maybe we even think that by not living fully, we're somehow protecting ourselves. But the truth is that inaction is just another way of giving our time away without even realizing it. So over the last 6 months, I've learned that I can't change the past. I can only accept it. I can't make the future come quicker. I can only have patience. And the only time I have is right now. So what do I want to do with this time? What can I do right now that could have the butterfly effect? One small choice that I might change my future. So how I spend my time now determines what my future looks like, because no one knows what tomorrow brings or whether there's a tomorrow at all. So again, time is something we have, but we do not have. It's something we use, yet cannot control. It's something we often have too much of and desperately want more of. It slips through our fingers and it moves differently for everyone. So for a child counting sleeps at Christmas, time cannot go fast enough. But for a family holding the hand of someone they love as they take their last breaths, time is one thing they would give anything to have more of. But here's the truth. Time is not a currency. You can't earn more of it. You can't buy it. You can only be in it. And the way we choose to be in it, that's where the power lives. So in the last 6 months, I've been on this journey of letting go of control and learning to live in the now. I can't go back. I can't make time go faster, but I can be fully present. And that's what I'm learning to focus my energy on this very moment now. So sitting with you, talking to you. So if we look at Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now, ask yourself this: what are you doing right now to change your life right now? For me, it's this podcast. And I get here and I do it every week in the hope that this will land with somebody and change their life, make them think differently, just give them 20 to an hour out of their day of peace to just think some thoughts and off they go. So we measure life in years, but we feel it in moments. And there's time that stood still. The ones that take our breath away, the ones that make us feel alive. And my favorite memory is one of those moments. I was running across one of the busiest roundabouts in France with my partner then, and we were heading to the Arc de Triomphe. I butchered that, by the way, I'm not French. So as I looked over, once we made it to the other side, I realized there was another path, another choice, but we didn't take it. We made our own path. And in that moment, time stood still. The cars didn't move. We moved. Sometimes time disappears before we're ready and we try desperately to hold on, to freeze it, to control it. But sometimes we just have to trust, to have patience that everything is working out exactly as it should. In time, everything will be revealed. In life, the most precious things can't be bought, and one of them is love, and the other one is time. And sometimes time is the only way that we know something at all. It's the lens through which we see ourselves, the world, and everything in between. So trust the wait, honor the moment, and let go of trying to control the clock. You're not behind, you're not late, you're just right on time. Think about that. Like, you're right on time. You're not ever late to a dinner. You're not ever late to a meeting. You're right on time. Ask yourself, if time wasn't a factor, how would you live your life? If you stopped measuring your life in deadlines, clocks, calendars, how would you be living? What would you choose? What would you become? Lots of questions there. Because the answer to all of those questions, that's where your truth lives. This is your time, and it starts now. Did you know that time isn't real? It's not real. It's an illusion. It's all an illusion you've been living in. Let's strip all of that back for a second. What if I told you time is just not real? It's man-made. I don't mean that in the poetic, metaphorical way. I mean it quite literally. Scientists and philosophers alike have debated this for decades. Some argue time is not a constant flow like we believe, but rather a human-constructed framework to make sense of the chaos around us. Some argue time is not a constant flow like we believe, but rather a human-constructed framework to make sense of the chaos around us. Because without time, how do we explain change, growth, decay? How do we order events, memory, pain? But here's the kicker. In quantum mechanics, there's a theory that the past, present, and future all exist simultaneously. It's called the block universe. So the block universe theory is where we imagine time like a book. The past is one page, the present is the next, the future is the next pages ahead, but all the pages already exist. You're reading one at a time. You aren't moving through time, you're experiencing slices of something that already exists in full. What is now? What is the present moment? Here's where it gets really trippy. So you're not actually in the present, you're living in a delay. Your brain processes everything with a slight lag, so milliseconds behind reality. So that sound you just heard already happened. That thing you just saw, it's over. You're living in a replay of the world, not in real time. So you think you're in the present, you're actually living in a delay. Everything already happened. How crazy is that? So let that sink in. What we call now is really just our brain's best attempt to stitch together what just happened and deliver it as this moment. So we're basically walking through the world watching a live stream with buffering. And what's wild is that this delay isn't even the same for everyone. Athletes, musicians, surgeons, they train themselves to shrink that gap. They respond to reality with speed and fluidity, but they aren't truly in the now. No one is. Our bodies weren't built for that. Consciousness is always catching up. So if that's true, if time's a perception, if the present is just a projection, then what does it mean for the decisions we make, the regrets we carry, the anxiety we feel, and what hasn't even happened yet? It's all in that same book. Maybe it means we're trying to control a clock that was never really ours to begin with. And maybe, just maybe, it means there's more power in letting go than there is in holding on. Because if time is just how we perceive it, then presence, true embodied emotional presence, is all about being on time. It's about choosing to be fully in this breath, this step, this word, this heartbeat. And that choice, that's where the freedom lives. So now let's take this even further. If the present moment is already the past by the time we perceive it, what does that say about our memories, our trauma, our identity? Think about your brain as a storyteller, constantly piecing together fragments of perception and calling it reality. But in time, if time is just a perception and your perception is delayed, then your entire life story is being told through a lagging lens. And what happens when that lens is cracked? So memories aren't stored like videos on a hard drive. They're reconstructed every time we access them, which means every time you remember something, it changes. It mutates, it evolves. The version of the past you're carrying may not even be the truth anymore. It's just the most recent version of the story your brain told you. So how much of your life is real? And how much is remembered wrong? How many of your fears, beliefs, your guilts, your regrets, how many of them are anchored in the past that no longer exists? And think about this, when you share the same memory as someone else, you both perceive it differently. You both have different aspects of that memory, and you both have different time, how long it took, what happened. This is just crazy. How many of your fears, your beliefs, your guilt, your regrets, how many are anchored in the past that no longer exist? and you're holding on to them still. And if the past is distorted and the present is a delay, what exactly are we chasing when we say, I just need more time? Maybe the reason we're so obsessed with time is because we're trying to control something that only ever existed in our heads. So let's go to the future now, the great unknown. We worry about it, we obsess over it, we try to plan it, outsmart it, out-hustle it. But here's the uncomfortable truth. You will never experience the future. You'll only ever experience a series of present moments. The future doesn't exist. It's a projection, a fantasy, a film that hasn't even been cast yet. So how many of your stresses, your fears, your procrastination is rooted in a time frame you will never actually touch? The only moment that exists, the only moment that will ever exist is now. And even that is already slipping. So if we step back and we challenge the idea that time is linear, measurable, predictable, what we're left with isn't chaos, it's power. Because if the past can't hold you and the future can't own you, the only thing that defines you is what you choose to do right now. And that makes now the most sacred thing you have. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, just now. So what are you doing with that? Are you spending it worrying about something that may never happen? Are you wasting it, reliving something that you already did? Or are you here, really here in this moment, aware of your breath, your body, your choices? Because when you're truly present, time stops being something to fight. It starts being something you ride. Time is a construct. It's a psychological war we're losing. Let's talk about time anxiety, that creeping pressure you feel when you're running out of time. And even when you're at rest, that panic when a year flies by, the fear that you're behind on life, on love, on success. Everyone else is having babies. Everyone else is getting married. Everyone else is doing this. Everyone else. My time, it's running out. But here's the thing. What is that? There is no universal timeline. You're not everyone else. You're you. So no giant celestial calendar where you were getting marked late for your purpose. You're comparing yourself to timelines that don't even exist. Curated highlight reels and invisible standards built by people who don't even know you. So the next time you feel that wave of, I should be further along now, I should be doing this, stop. Ask yourself, whose clock am I living on? Because chances are, it's not yours. It's the perception of everyone else's timeline, of what everyone else is doing that you're living on. So get off their timeline and start living yours. Let's talk trauma, because trauma takes up a lot of time, and I've got a lot of childhood trauma that I've been pushing back in the past and stopping it from coming into my present now, because I don't have the future. I only have now. Trauma freezes time. It locks a version of you in a moment that makes you loop until you face it. You could be 35 years old, chronologically, but still responding to conflict like you did when you were 6, 8, 13, and like scared, like a child. That's what unprocessed pain does. It hijacks the present and makes the past feel like it never left. So healing is not about erasing time. It's about reclaiming it. It's about visiting those old moments, not to relive them, not to rewrite them, but to give them new meaning. Because while you can't change what happened, You can change what that means. And it changes everything moving forward. Remember this, you can't change that moment, but you can change the memory. You can reclaim the story you've been stuck inside. Now let's call out the biggest lie of all, that productivity equals worth. You're not your output. Your value is not measured in hours worked or tasks completed, but in a world built around calendars, deadlines, hustle culture, burnout is praised and rest is guilt trip. Where's the truth you weren't taught? Flow is a more powerful force than anything. Some of the most life-changing decisions you'll ever make won't happen under pressure. They'll happen under stillness, silence, when you stop rushing, when you finally hear your intuition whisper, this way, follow me. Instead of asking, how much can I get done today? Start asking, how much of me can be present in what I do? When you're reclaiming time, use those tools to anchor in the now. So let's get practical. So here are 3 ways that I've been learning that you get your power back from time. So the 3-minute reset. So anytime you feel scattered, racing, anxious, stop. Set a timer for 3 minutes. No music, no phone, so put it on Do Not Disturb. Just breathe. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 6. And repeat. You're reminding your body, I'm safe, I'm here, I don't have to run. It essentially lets your nervous system have a bit of a break, pause, and reset. The next one is the time audit challenge. So you track everything you do for 3 days, hour by hour. This is hard at first, but it's so important, because where's your time actually going? Because half the time we're not tired, we're just leaking time into things that don't feed us. You'll actually see how much scrolling you do, how much procrastination happens. And it's such an interesting experiment. Track everything for 3 days, hour by hour. Get a notepad, get something like that, and just jot it down. And then there's the later list. Create a page in your journal titled Later. Every time your brain says, I'll do that later, write it down. After a week, go back and ask yourself, was this avoidance or alignment? You'll start to see patterns and choose differently. Sometimes when we think we'll do it later, we do it never. But it's interesting to see the things that you start to put aside. That's the later list. Let's dive into the time paradox, why we want more but use less. And let's get brutally honest here. We beg for more time with people we love, more time to figure things out, more time to build the life we said we wanted. But when we're given it, we waste it. We scroll, we binge, we numb. That's why that later list is so important. That will change your life. We say just 5 more minutes, but it turns into hours. Lost in content that doesn't grow us, doesn't nourish us or move us forward. It's not that we don't have time, it's that we've forgotten how to value it. We tell ourselves stories like, I'm too busy to chase dreams. I don't have the time to work on myself. I just need to get through this week, this season, this year. But if you took an honest look at your screen time, your habits, your day-to-day flow, you'd probably realize you're spending more time reacting to life than actually living it. do the later list. It will change your life, literally. That's the paradox. We crave more time. We treat the time we do have as disposable. And we treat that time as it's infinite until we realize it's not. When you lose like a grandparent or a parent or a close friend, you understand that time is limited. We don't have that much time. Let's talk about people who have lots of money and, that sort of buys them time in a way. The rich versus poor. Let's talk about wealth, not in dollars, but in minutes. If we think the more money you have, the more minutes you can buy. The truly wealthy aren't just rich in money, but they're rich in time because they've bought their freedom. That's where crypto comes in, guys. That's what we're doing. We're buying freedom. For me, that time that I spend trading, making more money from the limited money that we have, it buys me freedom. It buys me time. While the average person is working more hours to afford a lifestyle that keeps them trapped in a cycle, the rich are paying others to do what they don't want to do, so they can use their time how they choose. Think about this. They don't mow their lawns, they hire a gardener. They don't run errands, they have a personal assistant. They don't trade hours for money, they invest in systems that create passive income. So they have, things working behind the scenes, people doing stuff for them. They've realized that time isn't the only real currency that matters. Everything else can be earned again. Time can't. Here's an uncomfortable question. Are you selling your life for pennies while someone else buys their freedom with hours you'll never get back? Think about that. And that's not meant to shame you. That's meant to wake you up, to make you reevaluate where your time is going, to remind you that your time is sacred, but only if you treat it that way. Think of the debt, the time debt that you don't know you're even in. We often think of debt in financial terms, but what about time debt? Everyone says yes to something they don't want to do. Everyone says later to something matters. Every time you delay the thing that lights your soul on fire, you're borrowing time against your future self. You're pushing real life to later without realizing later is a luxury you might not get. You don't need productivity to fix that. You need a perspective shift. And here's the truth. Most people don't waste time because they're lazy. They waste time because they're afraid of starting, afraid of failing, afraid of change, afraid of actually becoming the version of themselves they claim they want to be. And they stay stuck in comfort, in loops, in time debt. They regret everything. Here's the regret test. Here's a challenge that will hit you in the gut if you let it. Imagine you woke up tomorrow and 10 years have vanished. You've been in a coma, you've been whatever. 10 years gone. No warning, no preparation. What would you regret? What would you wish you had started? Who would you wish you had loved harder? What version of yourself would you be grieving? Now ask yourself, why haven't you done that thing yet? Because if that imaginary loss of time shook something inside you, that means the clock is already ticking and you know it. Let's flip it. Start that thing today. Send that message. Launch that idea. Quit the thing that's killing your joy. Book the trip. Have the hard conversation. Go to the goddamn gym. Get that six-pack. Write the first line of the book and say yes to what lights you up. And no, to what drains you. No is a complete sentence. Because there's a version of you 10 years from now who's either going to be grateful or resentful. And you get to decide which. Why you're wasting time without realizing it. If your rest doesn't leave you feeling refueled, it's not rest, it's numbing. And that's not your fault. We live in a world designed to steal your attention, to steal your time, to keep you hooked, clicking, consuming, because your time, that's the product. Every minute you're scrolling, someone's making money. And while they're profiting, you're losing something you'll never get back. Time. If you don't know how you're spending your time, someone else is spending it for you. Your time is your vote. So every time you vote with your time, you can tell the world what matters to you. Not through your words, but through your calendar, your screen time, your focus, your habits. Ask yourself, are you voting for a life that reflects who you are or who you want to be? Or are you voting for the version of you that's stuck on autopilot, running someone else's race? Because at the end of the day, you don't find time, you choose it. You don't have time, you make it. And if you want your life to look different, it starts by changing where your time goes. You don't need more time, you need more intention with your time that you already have. So everyone has the same amount of time, and some people just get more things done than others. So start now. You've got everything you need. And time is listening. Let's talk about how time moves fast or slow. Let's talk about something you've definitely felt but never maybe questioned. Why does time move fast when you don't want it to? And it feels like it drags on when you're desperate for it to move forward. Why did childhood summers feel endless? And why did the perfect holiday vanish in what felt like seconds? Why can two people be in the same hour but experience completely different time? This is the time distortion, and it's more psychological than physical. So the secret ingredient is novelty. Let's go back to your childhood. Everything was new. First sleepovers, first crushes, first time you got in trouble for something you actually planned. So every day you had novelty, which means your brain was fully engaged, you were present, immersed, wide-eyed. Your brain was absorbing every detail, and because of that, time felt slower. Contrast that with adulthood. Repetition, routine, wake up, Groundhog Day. Check your phone, go to work, come home, scroll, sleep, repeat. You've seen it all before. So your brain, it tunes out. The more familiar life becomes, the faster it seems to pass because your brain isn't recording it, it's recycling it. If you want time to slow down, bring back novelty. Shake things up, take a new route, say yes to something scary, do something you've never done before. Here's the magic. New experiences stretch time. Familiarity compresses it. The Christmas morning effect. You felt this, that long, painful wait before that big moment. You're counting down the hours before a date, a flight, a big interview. Time just drags. It's because anticipation stretches time. You're mentally already in the future. The present becomes something to escape, making it feel heavier, slower, and harder to get through. But when you're in the moment, when something finally arrives, it's over before you can fully hold it. That's the Christmas morning effect. As kids, we waited till December, the night before, pure torture. Santa Claus was coming. But the morning itself, a blur, torn paper, shiny toys, and then it's gone. You waited all of that time for a moment that was fleeting. What's one moment in your life that felt like it lasted forever? And what's one moment that disappeared too fast? Let it surface and sit with it. Tony Robbins has a pyramid where life all connects. So how does this tie into the Tony Robbins life mastery model? Tony talks about 6 human needs, the emotional drivers behind everything we do. They are certainty, comfort, predictability, routine, variety, surprise, novelty, growth, significance, feeling unique and important, love and connection, bonds with others, growth, learning and expanding, contribution, giving to something bigger than self. Here's what most people don't realize. Your experience of time is directly linked to how well those needs are being met. When you're stuck in certainty, same thing every day, time speeds up. You're coasting, numbing, existing, but not living. And when you lean into the variety, growth, connection, time expands, moments deepen, life becomes rich, textured, and remembered. Tony also talks about the life wheel, a tool to measure fulfillment across categories like health, emotions, relationship, career, and time. And here's where time warping really hits home. The areas of your life where you feel the most alive are often the areas where time feels slow, present, and embodied. And the areas you're neglecting, they're flying by because you're not even in them. You're not behind on time, you're behind on meaning. If you want to feel like you're living more, you don't need more hours, you need more novelty, you need more presence, more emotional engagement with your moments. So take a different walk, try a new hobby, write a letter instead of texting. Make your daily routine sacred instead of rushed. Create a memory, create contrast, stretch the moment. Because life isn't measured in clocks, it's measured in emotion. And how we feel the time is how we feel about our lives. Because every time you pull a memory from your brain, it's because of an emotion. Emotions make those memories alive. They bring them back into time. Let's look at some secrets of time bending. Let's get something straight. You can't control time, but you can command your relationship with it. So this is the secret. It's this part of the episode, we're taking back your time. So it's not about bending it. It's not by hacking clocks, by hacking your habits, your patterns, and your beliefs. That's what we're hacking. We're hacking the habits, your patterns, your beliefs that are silently stealing your hours. Let's start with something so simple, but it will change your life. The 5-minute rule. So if something takes less than 5 minutes to do it now. That's it. That's the rule. Reply to the email, wash the mug, pay the bill, send the message, cancel the things you know you're dreading. Because here's what happens when you don't. That tiny task will end up on that later list. It's the mental clutter that we're trying to clear. And in reality, it doesn't need to be there. Procrastination isn't laziness. You're not lazy, you're overwhelmed. But action clears the fog. The 5-minute rule resets your momentum. It reminds your brain you're capable. It's the time blocking versus free flowing. There are 2 main ways people try to manage their days. Time blocking, assigning a specific block of your day for focus tasks. Free flowing, letting intuition, creative flow guide your actions moment to moment. What we've learnt through psychology is neither is better. But if you're living in a reactive mode, if you're jumping between tasks with no plan, if you're constantly putting out fires, then time blocking is your weapon. It puts you in charge of your hours instead of being at their mercy. On the flip side, if you're creative, time blocking makes you feel caged. Give yourself structure for the essentials, then permission for free flowing during your highest energy windows. There's a life hack in there as well, because I'm quite a creative person. So give yourself a power hour, 1 hour of every day dedicated to your most meaningful work. No distractions, no excuses, 1 hour. That's it. Consistency, perfection. Why no time is a lie? Let's call this out. I don't have time is rarely true. So when we usually mean it's not urgent enough, I'm too scared to start, I don't want to fail, and I'm not ready. But the truth is, you're never going to be ready. And by saying I don't have time makes it sound noble, like you're too busy being productive to chase your dream, start a side hustle, heal your trauma, fix your relationships. It's not about time, it's about priorities. And the second you start telling the truth about that, your life changes. If it matters, you'll find time. If it doesn't, you'll find an excuse. Both are your choices. Own them. Track your time, hour by hour. Remember that. This is what we were doing. And write it down. Write what you did every hour, how long it took, how long it really took, and how you felt after doing that. So if it absolutely drained you, write that down. I hated doing that. It was the worst thing ever. At the end of those 3 days, highlight everything that drained you, distracted you, and didn't serve you. Then cut it out of your time. Reduce it, delegate it, automate it. Reclaim that time and give it to what matters most. Because here's what you'll realize. You're not out of time, you're just misplacing it. And if you want to master time and start treating it like a sacred ground, don't let everyone walk over it. Don't give it to people, thoughts, or habits that aren't worthy of your future. Your time is your energy is your life, and your life is happening now. Only now. And finally, here's what I want to leave you with. Time isn't something that we can chase. It's something to honor, to witness, to move with. And when you stop fighting time, you realize you are time. You are living, breathing it. Don't race the clock. Become the moment, because that's where your power is. That's where your peace is. Time is ticking. What will you do? Time doesn't ask if you're ready. It doesn't pause when life gets hard. It doesn't rewind when you wish it would. Time moves with or without you. And that's the truth most people don't want to face. You can waste it, you can spend it, or you can invest it. But you can't save time for later. There is no later. There is only now, right now. Right now. And this moment is all you've got to create the life you say you want. So you're not behind. You're not late. You're right on time if you start today. If you had just one more year to live, what would you change today? Send this to someone who keeps saying, I'll do it later, because later isn't promised. And this is the episode they might need, the moment they might need to realize that they have to stay in the now. Thank you for giving me your time today and listening to my podcast. Follow Uncharted for more deep dive conversations. Remind you what really matters. Your time starts now. Use it well. And don't forget to check my links, because you'll see all the other amazing stuff that I spend my time on. And come and see me inside Getting Started in Crypto. Thanks for listening. This has been Uncharted.